Surprise, surprise! Welcome to Open Mic with Allie and Michelle. We are so grateful that you joined us. How you doing over there, Allie?
I'm doing great, Patriot fam. It is We the People Wednesday. I'm so excited to join you guys today. I do apologize for not being there yesterday. I had a travel day and it just was not possible for me to get on. But I'm glad to be here. I heard this show went really well yesterday with Camden. We absolutely love Camden and his take on things. He's an incredible man, and I'm so excited to see where he's going. And proud to be a part of his journey. But thank you guys for joining us from wherever you're watching, whether it's on Spotify or YouTube or Rumble or right here on X. We appreciate you watching us. And guys, I know the lighting is terrible, but this is why we need you to invest in mic, because I need to travel with good lighting because this is awful.
Allie, I don't think I think the Lord sends proper lighting with you.
Aw, amen. I love being in the studio, but I do love what I'm doing. So, I mean, this is all God, and I'm grateful.
Very exciting. There, and listen, as we've seen the tragedy unfold over the last week or so, and really, let's be honest, it's been a while. It's been like the last year. If you go back to the assassination attempt on Trump, things have just really sometimes things have come out that we're like, oh my God, that's happening, or that's too ugly, or I cannot even believe that the FBI has been doing what, like the last 4 years. So for us to be able to now see the other side of the coin and see what God is working for good, you're involved in some great things. There's great things on the horizons for both of us. There's great things on the horizons for Open Mic ladies. It's just kind of fun to see how God's still working through it all. I want to remind and encourage our viewers, because I know you're probably feeling the heaviness that's going on in our culture and society, just to keep hope alive. That's one of the things that we want to encourage you to do as we get ready to peel open the onion and the layers, Allie, of what's going on as we learn more and more about this, the killer of Charlie Kirk. So I guess,
and there is a little bit of breaking news, maybe about an hour ago, 35 minutes ago, that there was someone rammed a car into the Pittsburgh FBI headquarters there and fled the scene. So there's an active manhunt for this person, and they're calling it an intentional act of terror. So guys, just stay vigilant, okay? That's really all we can say. I mean, even you had some experience yesterday at a school board meeting where you're telling me some of this information. And I'm just like, wait, what? Like, how? What?
Yes. And so if it's okay, I'm gonna share that story with our viewers, but I want to make sure we roll our intro. Allie, thanks for bringing that up, because you and I are both constantly inundated with these comments online. It's a lot of hate. We can take it, but when you're face to face with somebody and they still are threatening, it's kind of interesting.
Like literally all of our conservative friends need security. It is insane out here.
It is insane. It's insane. This is the battlefield, though. Guys, let's go ahead and open that mic.
We started, we're wearing our red hat tonight. It takes more than just a feeling. Oh, better be believing, and America's gonna be home.
What do you do? They try to cancel you. MAGA Nation, we cancel proof. My red hat stays on. My red hat stays on. You know I love God, but in Trump I trust. November 5th, you gon' ride with us. Our red hat stays on. Our red hat stays on. It's the mayor of MAGAville, the RNC King. 2024, freedom gon' ring. Mr. Red, White, and Blue. I'm still fighting for each one of you. And keep your red hat on.
You know, she says it right there in the song. What do you do when they come for you? You know, and it's just happening every day. Allie was talking a little bit ago. I went to a school board meeting, y'all. School board. We're talking local, right? Like
Yep.
this is not statewide. This is local school board, and just little old me. And the amount of craziness that's infiltrated into our schools. You guys don't sleep on the students and on the schools and on your public schools and your college campuses. This is why what Charlie Kirk did was so amazing, because we are well into the indoctrination of our young people, to the point that when somebody stands and gives a public comment that somehow is opposite of what they believe, not only can they not be quiet, not only can they not have decorum, but they're shouting the same slurs that we're hearing riddled from in chat rooms that this killer was a part of. I saw it firsthand. I thought there really can't be people that are that inhumane that they can't understand that somebody's father and somebody's husband was murdered. I mean, forget the rhetoric, forget the fact that we're left or right or whatever. Really? No, it's serious. I saw it firsthand, and I saw it, Allie, from some young people in the room. I don't think they're the majority, but when you bust people into a school board meeting, that's what happens. But
I mean, it is really wild. We're in wild times, you guys, but wild times require boldness and courage. And I'm actually in a place where I'm seeing a lot of neutering because of Democrat oppression, and it is quite it's just really interesting to see the dichotomy between free state of Florida and where I am in New England, and it's just my mind is blown. It is really wild. They are the left is definitely the party of oppression, and you can see it in the people's faces when you're having these conversations, and in the business owners that we're talking to, and in the streets when we're trying to interview these people. It's quite disheartening.
Yeah. Allie, that's why the assignment I think that God has on people today that will listen to his nudging and to his calling it's very big. And obviously, as Charlie Kirk has shown us, it's unnecessarily, I guess, it's a big price that you could pay. But I've had people, I'm sure you have too, in your family that have asked, you sure you still want to do this? And it's like, what else are we gonna do? Sit back and let it happen? Like, do you know me but at all?
My question is, what would have happened if Esther said no? What would have happened if Deborah said no? What would have happened if Noah said no? What would have happened if Abraham said no?
What would have happened if Jesus said no?
That part.
Like, think about it. And yeah. And I know, and then people kind of say, well, that's because you have faith. If you don't have faith, you need to get you a real close friend who does, because you're going to need it for the next chapter that we're going into. I'm just going to say. So let's kick it off.
All right, let's go.
This is difficult. This is how Allie and I are often. I miss you, by the way.
I miss you too.
This is, we're going to roll just a little bit of the video. I can't stand the audio because even now, the killer got a little bit of an attitude. He needs to be put in timeout a little bit. So
he needs a spanking.
The killer has appeared in court. He's officially been arraigned. Let's see if I can word today. On the killing of Charlie Kirk. He was informed that the state, you guys, is seeking the death penalty. It's found it interesting, Allie, that the prosecutors did file a pre-trial protective order on behalf of Erica Kirk.
Wow, that's good.
And he only allowed him to speak on a few occasions, but I just couldn't stomach it, so I didn't want to make our viewers stomach it. We actually don't even say his name much here because he's not the focus. But good to know that we're moving ahead in this process. He was cooperating at one time, and then I heard Kash Patel say he's not so much cooperating right now. So we'll see what happens with that. But your thoughts on seeing him start the justice process, Allie?
I'm glad that it's happening. I do, parts of me do want to question the narrative. Like, how deep does this go? Who is he really? Like, you know what I mean? There's just a lot of there's a lot of conjecture going on online, and with the fact that we just don't trust our government, no matter who is in charge, I think is a healthy aspect, a healthy viewpoint to kind of have. But I am glad that he's starting that justice process, and I think that we will see justice for Charlie and for Erica and for those two sweet little babies.
Yeah, that is, I don't know. That just, Makes me
And
sad, but it also, you know, it's like we have to keep going. We have to keep going. And one of the things that I wanted to bring to our viewers, you shared this with me, I think later yesterday, but on Fox News, and it's a very long video, so I'm not sure
Okay.
how much we'll show. Although I would love to show it all, but it's like 4.5 minutes, and we've already said we don't ever get enough time. So, but there is the Utah County District Attorney is reading the full message exchange between the assassin and his transgender boyfriend or slash roommate. I want you to listen to this, viewers and Allie, and then I want you to see if you pick up on what I pick up on how much this person may not have known. Take a listen.
The roommate. Police interviewed Robinson's roommate, a biological male who was involved in a romantic relationship with Robinson. The roommate told police that the roommate received messages from Robinson about the shooting, and he did provide those messages to police. On September 10th, 2025, the roommate received a text message from Robinson which said, "Drop what you're doing. Look under my keyboard." The roommate looked under the keyboard and found a note that stated, quote, "I had the opportunity to take out Charlie Kirk, and I'm going to take it." Police found a photograph of this note. The following text exchange, then took place. After reading the note, the roommate responded, "What? You're joking, right?" Robinson, "I am still okay, my love, but am stuck in Orem for a little while longer yet. Shouldn't be long until I can come home, but I gotta grab my rifle still. To be honest, I had hoped to keep this secret till I died of old age. I am sorry to involve you." Roommate, "You weren't the one who did it, right?" Robinson, I am. I'm sorry." Roommate, "I thought they caught the person." Robinson, "No, they grabbed some crazy old dude, then interrogated someone in similar clothing. I had planned to grab my rifle from my drop point shortly after, but most of that side of town got locked down. It's quiet, almost enough to get out, but there's one vehicle lingering." Roommate, "Why?" Robinson, "Why did I do it?" Roommate, "Yeah." Robinson, "I had enough of his hatred. Some hate can't be negotiated out. If I am able to grab my rifle unseen, I will have left no evidence. Going to attempt to retrieve it again. Hopefully they have moved on.
Only because
I
I
haven't
don't
seen
really want to
anything
keep his
about them.
picture up on the screen any longer.
Well, Cash Patel right now is in a hearing. He's discussing all of these text messages, submitting them into the congressional record during his testimony. So I'm sure everybody's going to have the ability to see these and witness them. The judiciary hearing is actually occurring right now, but this is just quite literally insane. I just wow, wow.
Well, and
we're the not too crazy ones. That's
dude, I was literally called one again last night. I was like, oh okay.
Because we've killed millions of people. Actually, it looks like to see it's we're the ones who are being attacked and murdered.
And I'm just gonna say, here in the state of Florida, we have laws that require us to get all of the LGBTQ enumerations out of policy, out of any mention of DEI. Like, it has to all be out. So that's part of what our school board was meeting on last night, was lining up our code of conduct with state law. And it was amazing because they were arguing, no, you have to keep these enumerations in, otherwise, people are going to kill us. And I was like, actually, the enumerations, Allie might want to read Christian, white, MAGA, America First, conservative, because we're the ones being gunned down. But I didn't get much laughter.
Wow.
Donald Trump Jr. has come out and he reposted actually from Libs of TikTok. So we're dialing in today, guys, in this first segment here on Open Mic, the things that maybe you're not going to see played out a lot in mainstream media, just because we kind of get this firsthand information. Anyone who's been watching or knows what's happening recently, but there's been a miscarriage of justice. It's totally unthinkable, Allie. And this is part of what Cash Patel did yesterday in that testimony, that hearing. Take a look at these documents here. The Senate Judiciary Committee released the documents. I know Chuck Grassley yesterday was alluding to this with Cash Patel. that the FBI under Biden, and so Kash Patel's predecessor, he targeted 92 Republican organizations, including Turning Point USA.
Turning Point. Jesus.
Yeah, if you take a look at the draft there, organizations include, think about this, think about the FBI targeting Turning Point USA, the GOP, that's nice, Trump companies, and Republican PACs. This is really familiar to when they targeted, they did the same thing with the Tea Party movement, really.
This is Maoist. I don't understand. I need our viewers to really understand we have already been captured. The communists are here. They've been here and they've infiltrated our education system, which is the easiest way to change culture because you're changing the next generation. That is how this happens. And if we're not looking at, yes, it's good to make laws to like dispel some of these things and get some of these things out. But if we are not looking at manufacturers who are or publishers who are pushing forward our curriculum and not actually putting that focus there, we're focused on the wrong stuff, y'all.
Yeah.
It is never about the issue. It is about the agenda. What is the agenda? To divide and take over and conquer America. How do you do that without firing a shot? Because they know they can never win a kinetic war with America. They know they can't.
They can't. Well, and that's that. So, prior to 2020, and I think about in our own lives, I know you and I were really homeschooling our kids for a time. And if you ever go back and think, wow, pre-COVID, like, what was that life like? You remember it was it was different. It was kind of happy-go-lucky. We kind of just didn't really think about a lot of things. There wasn't that much of a difference in my mind between, somebody like Donald Trump and a George Bush. You just took it for what it was.
Yeah.
The way the world looks now is so completely different. And
Vastly
I think
different.
what happened? What happened for us to see it? And the only thing I can think of, the turning point in there was when they shut down schools. And you were forced, because I know my phone rang off the hook. I'm sure yours did too, with these new moms that are like, wait a minute, my child's home and I got to like do this homeschool thing. And what is this?
Did you hear that the teacher said this? Oh my gosh, we're remote learning and the teacher actually said this. Why is the teacher saying this? Why is the teacher talking about this? What do you mean that the government has the ability, that they have the right to? What is happening here? And then there was a flood of parents at school board meetings because they're like, absolutely not. We can't be teaching this. Since when were you allowed to teach this? And I feel like once they opened the schools back, the curriculum, they had time to implement the curriculum through the COVID ESSER funds, which are the federal funding that came down from COVID. The COVID funds. So that's how they were able to implement that.
And think about this. They created the need to have financial help. Your businesses needed financial help. Lots of times you needed financial help because you couldn't go to work. The schools needed financial help. Organizations were given more money to try to help the people who needed more help. So they created the need for financial help. And then as they input the financial help, the strings attached to it are what brought in DEI and a lot of this leftist agenda. So it's like they created a need for a tourniquet, but in order to get the tourniquet, you had to, bite off all these other things. And and then the school districts, especially, they got drunk off of this money because they're like, well, we put this program in and this program in, and we need these funds now in order to keep it going. Not all the time realizing that, but you're bending a knee to this wokeism ideology in order to bring it in. So I did like that Donald Trump posted this. He's talking about the Turning Point investigation. He says here in his post, why was the wonderful Turning Point under investigation by the deranged Jack Smith and the corrupt and incompetent Biden administration? He said at the end here, every leading legal analysis and pundit said this trial was wrong, the trial that he was put on, and should not have gone forward. So we're now seeing that lawfare that first was geared towards Trump and people like Flynn. We're now finding that really it infiltrated our own organizations on the conservative side. Everybody has been used, has had lawfare too, used against them. Allie, does this surprise you at all?
No, I mean, no. When you think about Mao and the Marxist agenda, and you think about what has been going on in other communist run or dictator run countries, and what the CIA and some aspects of our own intelligence agencies and military industrial complex has done in other countries, this does not surprise me in the least bit. You have to understand what your history is in order for you to not repeat it, right? Or not make it rhyme. And I feel like what we have seen with President Trump and what we've seen with several members of his cabinet, and now what we're seeing with the everyday American, this does not surprise me at all. That we've been through warfare like in this way, lawfare in this way. But I'm glad that there is a sense of justice. I mean, I was sitting here watching CNN last night because that's literally like the only thing that's on TV. It's like
because you're in the
woke news.
Northeast.
Right. It's like woke news. And I'm just like, ugh, because their talking points are literally the same. It's like they're like, oh, well, you know, the president doesn't have the right to remove someone from the Fed as a Fed governor. And she was actually appointed there. And they're like talking about how it's you know, it's political, how he's politicizing these offices. Same thing with Fani Willis. They're talking about her and how what she's doing is correct because President Trump is trying to politicize it. Like, first of all, we aren't trying to politicize anything. And it's not about redemption. It's about restoring proper justice. That's what it's about. But they don't want to talk about that. Thankfully, CNN has lost viewers and all of these things. So it's just
probably one of a handful that was still watching at that point. Well, and the other media outlets are not that much better when I'm searching this morning and into the wee hours of last night for more on this story. And I can't find it. So, of course, I go to places like Benny Johnson and I'm like, okay, I'm sure he did something on it. Let's see if we can. And we'll just air it out here, just like laundry. We will just air it out right here. So there is a short video. I'm only going to play a little bit of it in the control room, Krista, because I just don't want to give these yahoos any airtime. But let me read this first. This is just a portion of Benny Johnson's post about this organization. It's called the Armed, get this, guys, the Armed Queers of Salt Lake City.
Yep.
It's a Marxist paramilitary group, and they're being investigated by federal authorities right now in the aftermath of Charlie Kirk's assassination. The radical group immediately, obviously, washed their social media. We can't get child porn taken off that fast, but somehow they're able to scrub their social media in the aftermath. A federal law enforcement source told Benny Johnson directly that this group, quote, deserves classification as a domestic terrorist organization. We're going to cover a couple of things that they've said. I just want you to hear a little portion of this group. Take a listen.
But here's this little island a couple of miles away from America, 90 miles away from America. And they have a president who talks like us. They have a president who understands the need for a liberated Palestine. And I think that was, that definitely altered my worldview as an organizer.
And when you were saying that, I recalled a very powerful moment at the May Day March of me realizing just how much the Cuban people believed in us to make a change, right? I kind of, going into it, felt like if I was a Cuban person, I'd be like, oh, these Americans are here. What do they know? But that was not the reality of it.
So all roads lead to Cuba, apparently, because if you remember, and what we now know from the declassified documents for the JFK assassination, we now know how closely they were working with Fidel Castro and the communist regime in Cuba. Now you fast forward to this group. I mean, how are you able to even have this group, Armed Queers of Salt Lake City? They are going and meeting in Cuba with, communists who are training them on how to come back here and train other extremists. You have Karen Bass, the mayor of Los Angeles, who also was a part of what should be a terrorist organization earlier in her years, and went to Cuba and was trained. What?
This is
and
what
all
happens.
Of our Cuban Americans that live here in Florida have got to be scratching their head right
they
now.
Are.
Like, we escaped that crap. Why is
they are? Because you literally couldn't eat in Cuba. You couldn't eat in Cuba. Like that is how oppressive Fidel Castro had Cuba. And anytime you rose up, it was a fight. Like your family did not eat, you died. Like that's just, and then, or you found yourself on a manufactured boat made out of like wood and, palm tree leaves in order for you to get to America. Like, this is what happens when our young people don't understand world history.
And they don't understand worldviews and they don't understand different types of government. There has never been a socialist communist regime that has been able to stand for very long, because why? People in their innate nature, the way God designed us, you're not meant to live perfectly under oppression. Your very spirit will crave freedom. It's how you were created. And they sell this, and I've seen it firsthand because I've talked to many students. They sell this in high school, sometimes middle school, and especially secondary education in colleges. They sell it as this utopia. You won't own anything, but you won't need anything. Well, to a culture and to a generation that this is what they really want to do all day because we've put the phone in their hand, that sounds like a utopian society, all the while not realizing it's like those lab experiments, right? Like, where you wonder, why the rat keeps going back for the same piece of cheese and doesn't try to escape, because he's being fed. He doesn't know any better. But we do know better. We're mankind, so this just, look at that. Did you see that logo with the 2 bullets? And you know how there's the engraving on the bullets? Tell me that's not synonymous with what happened.
It is 100%. It is. And can you imagine if it was something like that, like armed MAGA or I don't know, Proud Boys? How about that? How about Proud Boys? You know how much they came after Proud Boys? They literally gave them 30 years in prison. And some of them weren't even stepped foot in DC.
Well, and here's the thing, guys, if you're talking or engaging in conversation with people about these Marxist extreme organizations that live here in the United States, so they use our Constitution that they say that they hate to be able to put forth all this hate speech. It's very interesting, because if you went to Cuba, you wouldn't have the right to speak any of that. The leader, and we're going to just go ahead and call her out here by name, of this domestic terrorist organization, Amaya Fenian. Amaya Fenian did not just allegedly go to Cuba and learn under them and under the Marxist regime there, and then try to bring it back to this organization in Utah. But she was also, it's being reported here, that she was also on the Utah State Democratic Committee payroll.
Wow.
Oh, take a look at that. I mean, these are the receipts. I don't pretend to know any more than y'all do, other than I can research. And that's...
But if you listen to Jasmine Crockett talk, it's not about where it's coming from. It's about that it's happening. I can't. I am really trying so hard.
You're being very good.
I really am.
Even on social media, I'm like, look at me with restraint.
It is, right? Thank you. It's so frustrating. Like, the evidence is right here. It's right here. It's in black and white. This is what the left is doing to America, to Americans. And it's not okay. And this is why, even in Florida, we put forth a bill. I think it was sponsored by Jay Collins when he was a senator, to make sure, or he signed on to it as a co-sponsor, to make sure that our children in our education system understood the harms of communism in their classrooms, that they were learning about it in history. It is mandated, actually, here in Florida, that we teach that, because this has gotten away.
This was the whole meaning behind the Cold War, Allie.
Yes.
I mean, why did we have this, no shots fired Cold War? Because everybody was like this, waiting for like, where's the commie? And it's like, in the classroom teaching sometimes, not all teachers. I don't want to bash all teachers, because listen, we need you, good teachers. Like, we have your back. We need you. But it's very interesting. I'm going to actually pass over this next story, Krista, in the control room. I know, because Donald Trump's already said he's going to look into designating Antifa as a terrorist organization. But this organization should also be considered. Anna Paulina Luna, from right here in the free state of Florida, had posted this, Allie. Armed Queers SLC, obviously, is now under investigation. The founder of this organizer is also a member of PSL. You ask what PSL is? PSL is the Party for Socialism and Liberation. There you
I
have
love
it,
how they call it what it isn't. They're very good at
liberation.
mincing words. They really are. It's like affordable housing. It's not affordable. How is it affordable? Like, it's not affordable because your taxes are extremely high and the materials are impossible to receive because of inflation, and you can't. It's like, it's not affordable. The housing is not affordable. It's just not. And now you have like socialist liberation. Like, socialism does not lead to
Well,
liberation.
and you might want to, just for and giggles, you might want to go to their website, the Party for Socialism and Liberation, and you might want to see where their local chapters are, because I was shocked how many chapters there are in the free state of Florida. You
Of
might wanna know.
Florida.
You might
Wow.
want to know.
Yep.
They
You
might
wanna know.
be going to a school board meeting near you, just saying.
And I think that once you do find them, I think that you should give that information to your attorney general and just
Yeah.
slide it in and be like, you know what, this is what I'm finding. I don't know if you found this, but this is what I found, and I think it needs to be investigated. Just putting it out there.
Absolutely. Everything needs to be investigated. The money, the ties, because this person, and actually, this was brought up last night at the school board meeting, Neville Singham, he's affiliated with, and he's a big financier, but he's affiliated with all these radical extreme groups, and potentially having ties to the Charlie Kirk assassination. So if we're looking on the other side of the coin, obviously nobody ever replaces Charlie Kirk, and his family will never be the same. But we might be able to see this rabbit hole of what they were attempting to do on a larger scale. I'm talking Charlie Kirk times 100, because there's
Yeah.
enough people that are having a significant impact in the conservative common sense movement. You can't tell me they didn't have something bigger planned. It's almost like finding out 9/11 and pulling the thread, and then it thwarting the whole 9/11. Maybe a couple people were harmed. You know what I mean?
Right.
It
Right.
feels like that could be what has happened. I don't know.
No, I mean, that makes perfect sense. This also kind of brings up this conversation of, this is what happens when you have actual freedom. You're in liberty. You're allowed to create these organizations, but the problem happens is when they become conflated, right? They expand to a point where there's no control because there's no oversight, and you're not paying attention to what's happening. You're not educating the next generation on what freedom and liberty actually is. You're allowing, the I want to say, our education has been usurped by a communist party that is not even a part of America. It's been delivered
Yes.
and brought in by the CCP, which is, I mean, their people are under oppression. Like 2020, there were rise-ups all over Hong Kong because they were tired of the leadership out there. So it's absolutely wild.
Well, and this is why, when people talk about, why do you lead with faith? Listen, because faith requires you to be free. It teaches you that it is your God-given right. No government can usurp that. And if you get church and faith out of the discussion, then it's easier. You have no foundation laid for these young people to go, oh, I don't know that I'm instinctively created that way by an almighty creator. Maybe government is my provider. And Camden,
government becomes your God.
Camden brought up a great point, Allie, and I think only a young person could have brought this perspective. Not that we're not young at heart, because we are, but he said, "Listen, if you look at some of the chat rooms that this guy was in, the killer for Charlie Kirk, and now they're finding out that there's these whole Discord families that are in these chat rooms. You and I, if we're out in public and we say something, and I'm in a friend group, and something I say is completely off the wall, you're going to tell me, Allie. You're going to be like, what? What'd you say? That is so weird.
Yeah.
Don't say that, or don't talk like that." When you're in these deep hole chat rooms, and in your parents' basement or whatever, you don't have that pushback to realize how far off course you're getting. And I want to give our viewers, Allie, just a snippet, just a portion, because this guy makes my blood boil, of what kind of propaganda is out there that these people are listening to. So imagine, you voted on the left. You've been told all this awful stuff about Donald Trump. You've been told all this awful stuff about God, about faith, about America, about our history, about our founding. We are this awful country. Imagine you're being taught that, and then this person pops up on your screen and tells you all these inaccuracies. Take a look.
Hi, my name is Charlie, and like many of you, I've been glued to current events and have been disgusted by what I've seen. We're actively funding a genocide in Palestine. We have a child predator who pretends to be a king in the White House. And our government has been completely taken over by corporations, capitalist greed, and foreign influences. Our immigrant neighbors and fellow citizens alike are being kidnapped by secret police and robbed of due process. Concentration camps are being opened in the fucking Everglades. USAID being shut down, which will cut off life-saving support from...
Listen, Linda. I might agree that we have greed in a lot of those that are in the top positions, especially under Biden. But he just called Alligator Alcatraz a concentration camp and saying our neighbors are being deported without due process. Read your Constitution. You don't get due process when you're here illegally. Allie, this pisses me off.
Oh my God, me too. Wow.
And listen, he
Um,
can have that. He can have that opinion, 1000%. But the issue is, if we don't, what Charlie Kirk represented was the antidote to that man.
yes.
And because they
Yes.
couldn't sit and listen to it, I had to listen to it. It raised my blood pressure probably just now, but I can do it. I don't wish death to him.
Right.
You see the difference? It's just
Yeah.
crazy.
I know. No words. To
Well,
a young mind, that person is that is the power of being able to have of speech. That's the power of having good speech. And not having the ability to cognitively think. And when you are stuck in an echo chamber that is your cell phone or the internet, that becomes reality. And I think that's why there are a lot of parents nowadays that are, or people that are starting to have their families now, are switching to phone lines, like landlines, although there aren't really a such thing as landlines anymore, but they're plugging them back into the wall, and they're allowing their children to make phone calls and having their conversations, not in the privacy of their own minds when you text, but out loud conversations where the rest of the family can hear what they're talking about.
Do you remember that?
Right. It's you. There's studies that are going on about it right now that show that these students, that these young people are smarter. They're more, their confidence level rises. They're more able to adapt and overcome. They're able to problem solve at a faster rate. So it really is. You have to limit what you have access to, even as an adult. What you have access to, and the things that you were doing, but especially the young minds in this nation.
Well, investigations are ongoing, guys. We will constantly be airing it out here on Open Mic, even if you don't see it anywhere else, just to keep you updated and informed, because a lot of these organizations are going to have tentacles that reach into your backyard. And you know what? I'd rather know about it than not know about it. And now the next step is to see what we are going to do about it. But here's the thing, speechless as we are, that never happens. But with this topic, when Fetterman, when Senator John Fetterman starts making sense, we are in trouble. Take a listen.
And he's made a lot of sense.
I know. Take a listen.
Don't compare him to anyone. And if you do, then you will incite somebody to say, well, now I feel like I have to stop that and take them out. People have seemed to have forgotten that the president took a shot to the head. And can you imagine if that shot would have gone the way Charlie Kirk's one, and what kind of condition our nation would be in? This is such a dangerous time right now. And now why? You don't need this an opportunity to share your opinions on it. Just, again, it's appalling, and allow folks enough space to grieve. The man hasn't even been buried yet. And it's like, that's why we wanted to have a conversation, that we have to find a way to work together.
Wow.
Well, John Fetterman, I will
From
work
the heart
across
of
the
Marietta,
aisle
Georgia,
with you.
comes.
No, she won't.
Right. No
I will work across the aisle with you, but what we will not do is hold hands with an enemy that's demonic. And if you're not going to change, if there's not going to be substantial change, listen, this is not right or wrong. This is good versus evil. And we're battling for the minds of our young people. So how do we reach across the aisle to
future
do that?
of America? That's what we're battling. We're battling for the future of America. Does America exist in the next 10, 15, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years, the next 150 years, the next 250 years? That is what we're battling for. We're not battling simply just for the minds of the youth. We're battling for the rest of America to move forward. That's what we're battling. And if we continue to go down this road, we will be just like every other third world country. And that's exactly what they want.
The people want an expiration date on this wonderful experiment we call our constitutional republic in America. And without us being that shining light on a hill, as Reagan described it, without us, the world looks much, much darker. So I think what we're fighting for is actually, like you said, Allie, it's it's much bigger. Guys, we are going to take a quick break. Make sure you go get your cigars and with Open Mic as your promo code. We'll be right back after this short break.
From the heart of Marietta, Georgia, comes a tribute to the spirit of liberty. Liberty Cigars, where history meets craftsmanship. Each cigar tells a story. The Founders Collection honors the visionaries who shaped a nation. The President's House Collection celebrates the leaders who steered it. And the Naval Series salutes the heroes who defended it. Handcrafted with precision, each blend mirrors the essence of its namesake. From the boldness of George Washington to the elegance of Thomas Jefferson. Indulge in a moment of reflection. Light a Liberty cigar and savor the legacy. Discover your story at libertycigars.com because every great nation deserves a great cigar. Liberty Cigars, smoke the history. And don't forget to use promo code OpenMic for 10% off your order.
Gold IRA companies are a dime a dozen, especially in conservative media. We vetted out 34 companies and chose Augusta Precious Metals.
With the lowest across-the-board spreads in the gold IRA industry, Augusta saves Americans thousands of dollars.
They are the only major gold IRA company that has zero complaints from their customers. Zero. None. Augusta Precious Metals does not have commissioned sales reps, which means their goals are aligned with yours.
They were the only gold IRA company that demonstrated integrity and transparency without using gimmicks.
The informative one-on-one web conferences by Augusta Precious Metals answer all of their customers' questions before they make a move.
If you're ready to learn about protecting your wealth and retirement with gold and silver, request your free gold guide from Augusta Precious Metals today.
Visit patriot.tv/gold. That's patriot.tv/gold today.
Gotta dance a little bit. Do you ever like put music on when you're doing your like housework or something and you're just like, I told Allie, I said, I got cowboy boots on today. And I'm like, I gotta find the strength to go line dancing because this stuff's heavy. And it's like,
it is. Well, it is also Constitution Day, and the Constitution will be displayed in, I can't remember where it's being displayed in DC, but there's even a fifth document that is rarely seen that was signed and fashioned by George Washington. So if you are in the DC area, go find where that is being held so you can go see that and just pick up the Constitution today and read it.
Read it. It's not, and there are places you can go to get the little pocket constitutions. I know we saw them all over DC, but
I have a bunch that I've given out. So
oh, maybe we need to have a raffle here. Guys, so what if I told you, how many of you guys watching, and I'll include Allie in this in our studio here, how many of you guys know somebody who vapes or doesn't want you to know that they vape? Okay, so I didn't know this. First of all, I don't like it because obviously I don't know what chemicals are in there, what the long-term battle is, but some people prefer it to smoking because they say it's a better alternative. Now they're targeting, I guess, what does the young people call it? A dupe when it's like not the real one. They're targeting.
Stop with the young people. Stop saying that. Like, knock it off. My God, woman.
I am not 70, but I might play a 70-year-old. Anyway,
Lord,
we are targeting right now through RFK Jr. illegal Chinese vapes. The same people that brought you the synthetic fentanyl that we don't want polluting our streets that are deadly are now creating these illegal Chinese vapes. I mean, I thought it was just Nike that they were ripping off. It apparently isn't. It's the vape industry too. Take a listen to RFK Jr.
The Chinese are getting richer while our children get sicker. And we're putting an end to that between August 1st and August 14th in partnership with the ATF. FDA did purchases at distributors in 5 different states, in Illinois, New Jersey, North Carolina, Arizona, and we did more in California and Florida. With ATF. ATF actually went to 14 different retailers. Our agency went to 5 different distributors. And the result is today we are doing raids, these kind of operations across the country to confiscate the vapes. Today, these gentlemen from ATF and FDA. Confiscated 50 truckloads of this material, and 90% of it comes from China. So these kind of operations we're doing to target the biggest distributors, and also to send a message throughout this entire industry that this will not be tolerated anymore, that there's a new sheriff in town, her name is Pam Bondi, and that we are going to target these Chinese vapes and stop them from poisoning our children.
Okay, at what point are we going to designate China, the CCP, a hostile government?
They have waged war on our businesses through intellectual property and their theft of it. They've waged war on us pharmaceutically by, first of all, they make most of the PPE that was required through COVID and then wouldn't sell it back to us. They're also synthetically harming people, as you've seen here, through vapes and through the synthetic
fentanyl that's coming across the border.
They have people in our country that are bought and paid for, whether they're politicians or leaders. They're infiltrating our schools and our curriculum.
COVID.
They are creating the color guard that we did prior in other countries.
They're creating the Red Guard. The Red Guard is here. It's here, and it's rising up in these Antifa, LGBTQ plus groups that are popping up all over the United States that we're just now coming to understand where they are and what they're doing. And they've been, in existence for a couple of years now. Like when are we going to designate the CCP a hostile country?
We absolutely need to. And listen, here's a little piece of kind of what we need to look out for going into 2026, because I know our viewers are kind of like, okay, I'm pissed like you too. So what do I do?
Yes.
But take a look. We're going to skip a little bit, Krista, in the booth. If we could go to Scott Pressler's post here. He's talking specifically about mail-in ballots.
Yeah.
You've heard Donald Trump say, listen, we're going to move away from mail-in ballots. I actually want them non-existent, except for your special ballots for people that are in the military. We should be same-day voting. He doesn't want the machines, no mail-in ballots. But this is the downside to it. We haven't yet gotten there with Trump. And here's what Scott Pressler says. Right now, Democrats are beating us right now 2-1 in their request for a mail-in ballot for this November in Pennsylvania. So it's going to be a really low turnout for the election. He says if we don't get ourselves together, we'll be stuck with a Democrat Pennsylvania Supreme Court until 2035. Oh my God. So if you're watching this from Pennsylvania, or even I say wherever you're watching it from, I think we don't change the ground game of mail-in ballots until we have the nod from the federal government that this is something that they're actually doing. We don't want to make people complacent because they think, oh, we're not going to do that thing called mail-in ballots. Meanwhile, the Democrats are still running full steam ahead.
Okay, listen to me, Republicans. I know that you don't like to utilize mail-in ballots. I get it. But if you do not have a plan to show up in the midterms to vote, you need to fill out and request a mail-in ballot, because your vote counts and matters. Okay,
yes,
we cannot allow the communist, socialist, Marxist left to control or take any kinds of leads in this next midterms. The midterms are just as important as the 2024 general election. Do you hear me?
Yes, and Scott Pressler here, Allie, is specifically talking about the Supreme Court election that's happening in Pennsylvania this November. Guys, you in Pennsylvania, you have the chance to watch, not the chance, you're at risk of having your Supreme Court turn extremely liberal for the next 10 years. That is something that you cannot allow. Again, mail-in ballots are still a thing right now. So Pennsylvania, make sure you get out there and request yours. Allie, I don't know, have you seen the video from Whoopi?
Mm-hmm.
When you have spent all of your time and all of the good graces that God has given you with being able to have a platform to speak to millions of people like Whoopi Goldberg does, and all you've done is use it to stir up hatred, and think of the stuff she spewed about Donald Trump, and to now see this happening. Let's play this video. I want to get your take on it. It's like she's had a come to Jesus moment a little bit. Take a listen.
And what assassins should always remember is just because you take somebody out doesn't mean the message is going to stop.
Yeah.
And it's important to keep that in mind, because when you look at our loss of Martin Luther King, or name anyone who's been assassinated in this country, we continue to fight on. And that's what America offers. It says, listen, you have the right to say and feel however you want. That is a birthright. You're born with that right. So taking somebody out is not the way to do it. You want to fight about something, then go to the ballot box. Go elect different people. Killing people doesn't do anything except make it a horrible world for their children. We'll be right back.
It doesn't do anything, but I didn't hear her denounce the killing of Charlie Kirk, and I also didn't hear her say the responsibility that lies on the hands of those in The View and those on the leftist mainstream media that have pushed this narrative of how Trump is going to destroy democracy and how trans people aren't going to be allowed to live under this new administration. That kind of rhetoric is what caused it.
Exactly. And they're not admitting it. They're not taking ownership. They're not taking responsibility or accountability for their actions, or what they have done and said. So that is the real issue. And I'm thankful that she has come out and she said what she said, and it's almost coming from a place of fear. You can see the difference in her face when she talks about when you kill someone, the message doesn't die. It's almost like, yes, this because of your rhetoric inspiring the weak minds of these children who've been molded to become radicalized, you have now magnified Charlie Kirk's message and the MAGA America First message 30-fold, 100-fold, because now it's across country lines. It's across seas. It is the entire globe is rising up to understand what freedom and liberty and sovereignty actually looks like.
Absolutely. And the message he brought about his Savior,
Faith.
Jesus Christ,
Yes.
that is being, because all the young people now are listening to it so much. So I want to give credit to where credit's due. And I know you sent this to me. We want to, although we obviously missed the message that Charlie Kirk, I miss tuning in every day at noon and seeing him. But Brandon Strzok is somebody that is here and he is fighting. And so this is interesting because there are a lot of people that are now watching this rhetoric and watching how people are responding to the assassination of Charlie Kirk and almost celebrating. And again, I heard it at our school board meeting. So I'm telling you, it's not far from your doorstep, those that are glad that he was killed the way he was killed. And that kind of sickening rhetoric is causing people to help Brandon Strzok's movement of walk away. He dropped this amazing video. Take a listen. We're just going to play a short part of it.
Yes, he deserves to die, and I hope he burns in hell.
The left has a violence problem, and Charlie Kirk being shot is proof.
I just came here to announce my official divorce from the Democratic Party.
Going forward after today and seeing how liberals and leftists and Democrats are acting towards this, I am never voting Democrat again. Ever again. For the rest of my life, I will always vote Republican.
This Charlie Kirk thing kind of put the nail in the coffin of me being a Democrat. I was slowly moving away from it anyway because I was noticing certain things.
Did you see that Charlie Kirk just got shot and killed?
That's good.
Wow, that's good.
The reason I am so critical of the Democratic Party right now is because I literally just left it, just like a lot of other people.
Whoever did this just fucked up. And I'm seeing a lot of people who were on the left say that they're no longer going to be on the left anymore.
Since leaving the Democratic Party, I no longer have an oppressed, depressed mindset. I hold myself accountable for my actions. I'm closer to God.
Charlie Kirk got shot and killed. How do you feel?
Happy. Goodbye.
Wow.
Let's bring it back here, Krista. Yeah. So
join me in prayer as we pray over Brandon Strzok, y'all. Lord Jesus, we just ask a hedge of protection over Brandon Strzok and his team while he is battling socialism and having and encouraging people to walk away from the Democrat oppressive party. Just protect him and his family and his team and those of us that are the tip of the spear in our circle of influence that are also doing the same thing. In Jesus' name, amen. Y'all, this is insane. I am glad to see that this is happening. Whoopi's words will ring true.
Right.
Everybody
Absolutely.
understands.
Another person we love dearly on this show is David Pollock. He did have a soundbite where he was interviewing Brandon Strzok, and it's important for you guys to know why what Brandon Strzok is doing, especially in New York City, is so important, because Zoran Mamdani is not an option as mayor, because he will bring this communist socialist regime right to one of the largest cities in the United States, and it will be duplicated across the country in every big city near you if we don't stop it. So this is a national campaign, as you've said before. Listen to David Pollock, and then we'll get some closing words from you, Allie.
You're approaching it from a different perspective, which is I love about what you're doing, because you're like, I'm not here representing the GOP. I'm not here as a Republican. I'm here as a guy who says those policies suck. And you don't have to go along with them. You have a choice. You don't have to be Republican. You don't have to like Trump, but you don't have to vote for him. What an important message that people just don't get. Can you talk a little bit about that message and how effective it is versus the Democrat versus Republican message?
Yeah, and I'll take it a step further as well. Not only is that you're totally accurate in your assessment of what the message is and what we're doing, but we're actually developing and building a united coalition across the political spectrum. I have another rally this Saturday, Washington Square Park, 1:00. Everyone be there. And we're having Democrats join us as speakers at this event, because there are actually a good number of moderate Democrats who can look at this and say, look, this radicalized fringe sect of our party that has pushed us to this point of embracing communism and socialism is too far. This is not. So there are even Democrats who recognize this is not a good path for their party, and it's not a good path for the city. So our message is not only, you don't have to, become a Republican or a diehard MAGA or whatever. It's that we can all be exactly who we are. We just need to come together and agree. Our nation, communism and socialism are antithetical to what we believe in as Americans. And if we can all agree on that, then we can come together and fight what we have here as a united enemy, somebody who is trying to Trojan horse in communism and normalize this in the greatest city in the world, and we're not going to allow it to happen. So, yeah, I mean, our message is very much.
And so I want to encourage our viewers to go to walkawayfoundation.org, walkawayfoundation.org. This is a national campaign for New York City. Make sure you donate, sign up to send text messages, emails. I know we've had Brandon on here personally. He's wonderful, and what he's doing is amazing. I love that you prayed for him, Allie, because that was on your heart a couple weeks ago.
Yeah. I'm nervous for him, but I also stand in faith and know that he's doing God's work right now, whether he knows it or not. I'm sure he does know it. But we have to continue to support those that are really trying to make a change in America. And what he's doing in New York City is going to it needs to bring national attention to it. This mayoral race in New York is not just about New York City. This is about America, the nation, the United States of America. So we all need to make sure that we are in, I don't want to say lockstep, but yes, we need to all be in lockstep to squash and quell, communism and socialism, so it does not take root, because it is a poisonous fruit.
And I love how our movement, the America First movement, really, there's such a contrast between what you're seeing on the other side. We are pushing our people to get involved, to go vote, and as you saw with Charlie Kirk, to engage in debate, in open debate and honest conversation with those who maybe you don't see eye to eye with. Yeah. The other side is saying, hide in dark Discord chat rooms and shoot high power rifles from, however many feet away. That's how you solve the problem. So really the rhetoric and the violence is largely on the left here. And I think we have to take the high road. We have to continue to take the high road. But I've heard it in our circles, to step up security, to step up those that are around you and where you go and where you travel. And I do have to let people know, because I know people have reached out and they are concerned, and I'm like, we're fine, we're good. Like, Allie's probably sitting there strapped right now, if I'm being quite honest.
You never know.
So we're fine, but please pray for our safety and for the safety of those like Brandon that are out there. I mean, he's obviously in New York City. That's ground zero right now. Allie, some news coming out before we end. I know there's going to be a memorial service for Charlie Kirk in Arizona this weekend. Donald Trump and JD Vance are both going to speak. It's going to be pretty amazing.
And I believe he's getting he's being presented with the Medal of Freedom. So that'll be something good to see.
Yeah, it will.
We love you all, Patriot fam. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll catch you tomorrow.
We'll catch you tomorrow.
Is high, inflation's up in the sky. Red hat stays on, red hat stays on. And I don't care how they look at me in the deepest heart of a blue city. Red hat stays on, red hat stays on. And I know when you smile, you like what you see. If you love America, you'll agree. Red